Butler, as you can see, this is clearly him. I have his number, and we're gonna call him, and let's see what happens.
And
So
today you're in for a very loud video.
And don't mind these lights. It is 3 in the morning. It is brighter than usual.
Bullshit mode activated.
You know, land of the rising sun. Alright, guys. So I'm calling him, as you can see. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's answered. He's answered. Let's see what he has to say. Alright?
Stop calling me, you stupid cunt.
Warning, this video is going to contain spoilers. However, if you've already seen the previous 2
attempts at a movie,
you're essentially getting the exact same plot, and if you're above the age of 5, you're pretty much going to predict the entire plot within the first 5 minutes. How dare you claim that Hollywood loves milking shitty franchises that somehow make a ton of money? How dare you? So I've actually gone a step further into doing a bit of research before I do my actual review, and by that I mean I went on Google. And from my deep and extensive research, I've concluded that shitty movies like this are targeted towards audiences like this. And people wonder why Indian people are bullied on the internet. And one more thing, I am not your Indian IT guy trying to scam you for 3 more years of warranty. Now, surprisingly, the 3rd installment was actually pretty competent, unlike London Has Fallen, which forced me to zone out halfway through the movie. And I was actually planning on reviewing Mindhunter Season 2, but Rotten Tomatoes already gave their reliable opinions. So as I said, this is pretty much the same movie, but the big twist this time is Gerard Butler is framed to have tried and assassinated the president. Did I mention that Danny Huston is in this movie? And based on that fact alone, and if you have seen any movie with Danny Huston in it, you pretty much know that he's the villain. Oh, are you even trying, guys? So, the film can basically be summed up with 3 main points. Number 1, super predictable. Number 2, shitty action sequences. And number 3, explosions. A lot of explosions. Now, I will elaborate on each point as I go through the plot of the film, and you guys can make out your own opinions and stuff like that. And at the end of it, I think you guys can agree with me why this franchise should have died years ago. And yes, this is a legitimate franchise. Legitimate franchise. If you go on Google and just search Angel Has Fallen, you can see it under Fallen franchise. So yeah, it is an actual franchise. So the film starts off with an intense little situation. We see Gerard Butler kicking ass left and right, bloody grenades being tossed around, and then he's held at gunpoint. But don't worry, it's just a training exercise. Movie, please stop that shit. Alright, so we're then introduced to Danny's character. Then Gerard Butler invites him for dinner with his family, and we all know that they're trying to depict that they're buddies with a bit of history and they have a strong brother-like bond, so we can be shocked with the revelation later on that he's the bad guy. Spoiler alert, the element of surprise never works in any movie, especially when even a 6-year-old can
family-friendly content.
So Gerard Butler, as you guys remember, is the invincible Secret Service agent. He's been offered the position to be the director of the organization, but he's physically not up to it. So when the president goes on his little fishing trip, the entire Secret Service is assassinated, but somehow Gerard Butler and the president make it out fine. No, actually, the president goes into a coma. So remember when I mentioned explosions earlier on as one of my points to sum up the movie? Well, this is essentially what really happened behind the scenes. So essentially, the director was called up by the production company and they said to him, "Mate, we're gonna give you about $80 million and I want you to write down your top priority and make sure you allocate the necessary budgets to where it belongs." And this is what happened.
Want some free V-Bucks?
Was that you say? You want drones? Let's make them explode. A calm little forest? Rig them with goddamn explosions. Hospitals? Make that shit blow up. It's like the director consulted with Michael Bay, because I kid you not, the product placement for Chevrolet is all over this movie. And this takes me back to a really dark time. Right, so as you guys know, Morgan Freeman is the president and he essentially goes into a coma. And I can't help notice, but he's kind of aged a lot. I mean, yeah, sure, he's always been this older, respectable gentleman, but he really does look aged here. I mean, it's like he's grown up. He's gone through the normal human process of aging, but
In an average lifetime, human skin completely replaces itself 900 times.
I don't know, it's just kind of sad. Gerard Butler, as I said, was framed by Danny's character, and so on his way to prison, the bad guys break him out of the Secret Service's car and forcibly puts them into their own car. Now, going back to my point about shitty action sequences, this is quite possibly the worst one. So essentially, yes, there were a couple of sequences that happened before Gerard Butler was broken out by these bad guys because, you know, they want to frame him and stuff like that. And yes, they were shot so shittly, you know, with the shaky cam, 50,000 quick cut edit, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. And you don't know what's going on, but it's at least it's in broad daylight if you have like perfect eyesight and if you're not over the age of
Age discrimination.
see what's going on. But when these bad guys kidnapped him into their own car, there was an action sequence. Why did I say sequences? But anyways, it was during the night time, and they had the audacity to do the shitty shaky cam quick cut editing garbage in pitch black darkness. I mean, you literally couldn't see what was going on in 5 minutes of the movie. So pretty much this was what it looked like.
Punch, punch, gunshot, handcuff, break free.
You know, many talented directors do this exact same thing where they shoot action sequences in the dark. However, the big difference is they do wide shots, one take, you know, no quick cut and all that shit. These are actors doing their own professionally choreographed stunts, and you know, that little bit of shade of darkness is to cover up the, you know, the fake punches and stuff like that. It is called being clever. Look, I'm not a certified legit filmmaker that has directed tons of films and choreographed a ton of action sequences like that. No, I'm just a dumbass who has watched a lot of movies, and even when I notice that you can't see what's going on, you know there's something wrong. You know what the best part is? We have that super cliched moment where the vice president gets sworn in to be president, and you already know that he's going to be the bad guy that's constructed the whole plan, and you know, it's the mastermind with the evil voice. And guess what? They even took a page out of Fast and Furious where they had the little evil voice. Yeah, they did the exact same thing here. I can't believe they actually stole from White House Down.
Plagiarizing whores.
And if things couldn't get any worse, they make the vice president character even more cliched because his answer is, it's the Russians. But Mr. President, maybe it's the... No, it is the Russians with Vladimir and the Soviet Union and the slapping competition with rubles and vodka. No, nothing. Just doing my accounting homework. Come on guys, that's not racist. I'm just having a little fun here. Well, there goes my dreams of buying a brand new Tesla. Especially with the 9 cents I made off my last video. Please don't demonetize me, I need the money. Speaking of plagiarizing, if you guys remember the latest Fast and Furious movie that was written and directed by my 3-year-old nephew, you guys remember that The Rock suddenly out of thin air had a brother, you know, he's the world's best mechanic living in an offshore island in Samoa and all that garbage. Well, essentially they pulled the same crap here. So en route to escaping, Gerard Butler conveniently stops by this forest, and then some old man stops him, and I kid you not, he goes like, Dad? Yep, they pulled that long lost family member card out of thin air. I swear to God, me and my idiotic friend in the cinema started laughing out loud like two bloody sociopaths. So the bad guys eventually locate them in the forest. You know, they're this fully trained, super high-tech weapon equipped guys, and then they get blown to hell. like, you know, with a shit ton of explosions. I kid you not, almost 10 strings of explosion goes off, like boom, 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 boom. Add special effects into the editing. Okay, editor? So bad people attempts to kidnap Butler's wife and daughter, but conveniently enough, Dad teleports to their house and stabs Mr. Bad Guy. And then the third act is the same cliched garbage. They have a little shootout at the hospital, explosions, and then we have the typical final battle between protagonist and antagonist. And yes, it eventually turned into a knife fight because the final two big bosses have to fight it out like men. They've done it in John Wick, The Equalizer, basically any Hollywood action movie, even Black Panther, where they fought with their claws in glorious CGI and shitty animations. And speaking of Black Panther, I kid you not, the director definitely stole the ending from that movie, because these guys, you know, they fight it out, you know, two friends, two brothers, and eventually Butler stabs his good old friend in the rib cage, I guess. Then he starts pouring out red color Microsoft Paint blood or something. I mean, it literally started pouring like a goddamn waterfall, right? And you know, they sit down, they have a nice little moment, they talk about being lions or something, and then, you know, they stare into the sunset, and yeah, the end. You know, to be fair, this one is actually watchable compared to London Has Fallen, because I think the storyline, the dialogue is pretty much competently written. Yes, it's super generic and cliched and predictable, but I think, you know, with Gerard Butler, anything is entertaining. I mean, the guy, I like the guy. He's really likable. He has a great screen presence. He's a better actor than people give him credit for. I'm not sure why he constantly sells his souls to these shitty movies. You know, I think if they shot some of the action sequences a little more cinematically, I would recommend this movie, but unfortunately it's so terrible that I really can't recommend that you guys check it out. I mean, now usually at the end of the review I usually give my grade, but who am I to grade this movie? I'm not some certified critic or whatever, so just go to IGN.
I'm a certified pussy.
And check out their reliable scores. Oh no, did I curse?